Hello and welcome to Your Local Note. We've got another Vidcast tonight. Appreciate you joining us. We're going to be hanging out and talking with Burned Out, Still Glowing. We'll talk to them in just a couple minutes, but just want to let you know that we are the place to be when it comes to Philadelphia area music. We're trying to be a place where you can find out where the bands are playing. With our concert calendar, you want to check out new music, we're streaming 24/7. If you want to take the site with you, you can, because we got free apps. Just go to the respective stores, type in YLN, download the apps for free, and you can listen to yourlocalnote.com anywhere you are. And you can also watch the vidcasts on your phone too, right, Mike?
Yeah.
All right, so you don't have to be sitting in front of your laptop or your computer to watch these vidcasts. You can watch it on your phone. That all is through our app, and again, it's YLN. Coming up next, it is Burned Out, Still Glowing. We're going to start off with their song Feudal from the EP King of the Wild Frontier on yourlocalnote.com. All right, the song is called Feudal, and it's from the EP King of the Wild Frontier, and the band is called Burned Out, Still Glowing, and we're hanging out with Lennon of Burned Out and Still Glowing. Lennon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about this song first, and then we're going to get into the history of the band, how it got together, and all that other good stuff, and then we'll talk about your songwriting process also. So let's talk about Feudal. Feudal is an instrumental.
Yeah.
And so you just started just playing, and then it just came about?
Yeah, so I actually work at Guitar Center. So when I'm actually not working, which is half of the time, and my coworkers know exactly what I'm talking about, it's me sitting around, with different guitar pedals and messing around. And I'm pretty sure I wrote this entire EP at my place of work.
At work, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah, this was just an idea that came about, and when I was in the studio, this was a song that I really wanted to record.
You may want to be careful, because Guitar Center may say, you know what, we need some residuals here.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you write this song. You just jammed and it came together.
Yeah.
Why would you not put words to the song? What made you say, you know what, I'm just going to keep this as an instrumental?
I think that instrumental songs, in particular, they convey some sort of emotion in one way or another. And when you listen to something, sometimes it carries a message to you instantly, and you feel like you don't have to force a message over top of it, and it just kind of is. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just something you felt, just in your gut says, you know what, I'm just going to keep it the way it is.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Do you now, the band Burned Out, Still Glowing, I mean, this is a project that you basically control.
Correct.
So
yeah.
why don't we talk about how the band operates?
Yeah. So it was a band at some point. I've had like multiple members in and out, and not everybody's always consistent. So I was kind of always the sole writer.
Right.
But a really good friend of mine, Ryan Watkins, was kind of like my partner in crime for a very long time, and we spent a lot of time just jamming, in his room and with our instruments, and so we were in a band for a while, and then eventually, everybody was a lot older than me. Like I'm only 23, and the band started I think when I was like 18.
Okay.
They were all like in their late 20s, 28, 29, and life gets in the way at some point in life, and life hasn't gotten in the way for me yet, so I'm still trying to plug away at this thing.
That's interesting, yes, because life does get in the way, but being that young, a big age difference there, it had to be intimidating a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're always like the young buck, and you feel like everybody else has like this edge over you.
But at the same time, there's a lot to learn.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, once you stop learning, that's it.
Right.
So I'm always learning from everyone.
So with Burned Out, Still Glowing, it's something where you do perform live.
Yes.
But your band members change,
kind of fluctuate. Yeah, so I do solo performances where I use like a loop pedal live, and I kind of like make beats and certain things, and so I do the solo thing every now and again, and it's entertaining, but with a full band I have certain people that I call up and say, hey, would you mind playing a show for a weekend or something like that.
Right.
And, so yeah, a couple of hired guns here and there, but I am trying to make this a full-time band thing. I got a couple people working with now.
Okay, so it eventually will be some permanent members.
It will be some permanent members, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
That's got to be stressful, always trying to get someone to do a live gig.
Absolutely, because it's like, I'm the only consistent member. I know all the songs.
Right.
I can play them, with my eyes closed or, anything like that. And yeah, it's always, worrying about if everybody else is going to be okay or cramming practices before the show kind of thing. Yeah,
there's a chemistry thing on stage when you're playing and you can look at a person and they know exactly what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
You don't get that if you're not playing a lot with that person.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And the one good thing is, especially if you have a friend and not a stranger, you have that sort of chemistry. But I mean, if you've never, if you're not friends with them or something like that, there's going to be no chemistry at all. Yeah. So it's a big thing.
Do you still write with other people, or is now, because it's basically a project that you're dealing with on alone, the writing is basically all you?
You know what? Some songs have come from jamming with other people. Instead of going into something where you're hanging out with your friends and you want to write a song, just messing around and having a good time, hanging out with your friends, and something beautiful comes out all of a sudden, and and then I'll steal it, from
it's called borrowing.
It's called borrowing. Yeah.
Can you lend me those tunes there for a second?
Exactly.
That's great.
So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, very cool. Let's do this. Let's go to song number 2, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about how you developed your music career, and we'll talk about this song, and we'll talk about how it was putting together the EP. We'll talk all about that coming up in just a minute.
Wonderful.
But we're going to play Happy Time, Happy Places. Again, it's from the EP King of the Wild Frontier, and we're hanging out with Lennon from the band Burned Out, Still Glowing on yourlocalnote.com.
in happy places, in happy times, and we'll never walk it alone. No, we're never going home. No, we'll never go it alone unless it's a party.
The song is called Happy Time, Happy Places, and the band is Burned Out, Still Glowing. Their EP is King of the Wild Frontier. We're hanging out with Lennon. All right, Lennon, let's talk about this song, Happy Time, Happy Places. This is a song, what is it about? You know, and the thing is, I was thinking as the song was playing, you're around music all the time.
Yeah.
Because you work at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with instruments there.
Yeah.
And then jamming when you have free time.
Of course.
And then you come home and you're playing. Do you ever get worried that you're going to get burnt out?
Yeah, that's kind of where the band name comes from a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when you're around music all day, sometimes it can wear on you,
Right.
for sure. But at the same time, I hear so many people play all day, and it's really inspiring in a sense,
Okay.
You can hear every single, sound in the world, right in one little place.
Okay.
And it's kind of inspiring. So the song is kind of, it's just, the song itself is really just about like having, a good time, and just being at the right place in the right moment kind of thing.
Okay.
Musically, it has like what's called like a tapping part, which I started experimenting guitar-wise. I was trying to broaden my horizons instead of playing, a certain chord or a certain melody all the time or being stuck in a key or something. Just trying to, spice it up a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, there's like a lot of different elements that happen in the song, but it turns, I don't know, it's just a feel-good song.
Okay. How would you describe your music? What, you hear the instrumental and I hear one type, but then I hear, other songs that you play, and it's a little more, I'm trying to think of the right
Spacey?
word. Yeah, I guess spacey is the word.
Yeah,
and so
sure.
What style do you call that, or is this something that it's not really a style? It's just the way you felt like you were writing these songs, and that's the way they came out.
That's kind of a lot of people try to force themselves into being a certain thing, because they feel like they have to be marketable or they feel like they have to fit a certain way. And when you think about it, it's just kind of life has a million different emotions, and
right.
if you're one song is gonna be when you're sad, or if your girlfriend just broke up with you, or you got fired from work or something, and the next day you're gonna write a song and it's you had the best day ever. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having that wave of life,
sure.
In your music. And
yeah,
that's kind of what I try to achieve.
Makes
every
sense.
emotion.
And it's funny you mentioned, about the different styles of music. Just read an article today. 2 universities in France. Okay, I read just bizarre stuff.
There we go.
2 universities in France did a study, and they say sad music is actually good for you.
Yeah, I totally believe that.
It's good for your well-being.
Yes.
It gives you a peaceful feeling, and it also makes you nostalgic, which is also good. All those things are good emotions to go through. So it's not a bad thing to be writing sad songs.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually I grew up a metalhead. I was like the reason why I play guitar is because of a band called Pantera.
Okay.
And so I was totally into the metal thing, and I realized looking back that in my angsty teen years, it was music that was angry for me, so I didn't have to be so angry, in a sense. So yeah,
I've never heard that put that way, but that's great.
Yeah,
it's angry for me.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, here you go. Buy your anger here.
Right, exactly. All types of emotions.
Okay, very very cool. So when you're writing songs, I mean, as you described before, you're at work and you start jamming and you'll start writing. Now, when you go home, do you then try to make an effort to start writing, or is it just the idea hits you in the head and then that's when you start writing?
Yeah, and it has there's a bunch of different ways that it happens. I'll be playing the same thing over and over again, that one part, and it makes everybody upset all the time that I'm playing the same thing. But really, they don't know that I'm just trying to finish the song already.
Right.
But yeah, when I go home, like some days I'm just like when you have to work a job all day long, you're burned out by the time you get home.
Yeah.
So especially with my job, sometimes I don't want to hear another note.
Sure.
Yeah. But and then there are other times where I find my peace and and I do finish the song. And a couple of songs on this EP in particular were finished kind of last second, like with Happy Times, Happy Places. I think I wrote like the ending while I was in the studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's all up for experimentation or procrastination, depending on how you look at it.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
We'll say experimentation. That sounds so much better than
right.
procrastination.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So when you're writing these songs, do you play them for other people, or how do you do that now?
Yeah, I mean, everybody kind of heard, especially at my job, everybody kind of saw the progress, throughout the writing
and I'm
process.
sure they gave their 2 cents.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, stop playing already. Like, dude, that's never gonna be a song. And then I come to them like, hey, here it is done, and they're like, all right, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure the critics and being coworkers, and we know how coworkers sometimes like to have fun at our expense.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and there you are trying to create something. That's got to be a little stressful.
It's a little stressful, yeah, especially because all of my coworkers are in a band.
Right.
So we're constantly busting on each other and stuff like that. But at the same time, they're all my best friends, and we support everybody's music. Like I go and see their band play, or they'll come and see my band play, and so I automatically have like a little fan base coming to see my shows every time. So it works out. You just got to have a good time with it.
Have you had any of your coworkers make suggestions while you're playing?
Sure. Yeah. A couple.
And not the ones that were saying stop.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Here and there. Somebody said, like one of my friends, Dave, who's in a country band. He's really cool at making suggestions about like, yo man, you ever think about trying this? He's really open about it, and I like that, instead of not giving anything at all.
Sure.
I love feedback because I don't have a permanent band, so I need all the feedback I can get at this point, right?
Well, yeah, and that's a good place to be. Now, are you self-taught? Are you a self-taught musician, or?
Yes and no. I took lessons for a while that kind of gave me like my base.
Okay.
But a lot of it just comes from personal experimentation.
Yeah, because I was asking because you were talking about the tapping. In one
right.
song.
Yeah, exactly. My guitar teacher said that only the great steal. And I don't necessarily believe that in a sense, but if you think about it, everything comes from something. So from listening to certain people, I have, kind of developed my own thing, or, my own sound in a sense. So yeah.
Well, if you and I were talking about this off air, there's a great documentary about the band the Eagles.
Yes.
And if you watch it, you should. It's on Netflix. It's just great just to watch the music history and things like that and see how a band interacts. But Joe Walsh for Life in the Fast Lane.
Yeah.
That was just a warm up for him.
Yep.
Which I found fascinating. He would just warm up. That's how he would warm up before a show. He would start the riff of the beginning of Life in the Fast Lane.
Yeah.
And that was a warm-up, and Glenn Frey said, "What's that?"
Yeah.
And then they wrote a song around that.
Yep. That's, it is.
So I
Jill
mean,
Walsh.
I
She's
can
pretty
see that
legendary.
happening. I can see that happening at Guitar Center, where all you guys are just jamming at one time or another, playing, and then you hear something like, that sounds pretty cool.
Right, yeah, exactly. I think the best type of creativity, it always comes out when you have a little bit of distraction to take away from that inner critic that that everybody has.
Right,
It's
right.
just enough to have something cool come out.
Very cool. All right. We're going to move on to some more cool stuff from you. We're going to play the next song. It's called Opportunity. We're hanging with Lennon from Burned Out, Still Glowing. The EP is King of the Wild Frontier. This song is called Opportunity on yourlocalnote.com.
You'll be free from
Song is called Opportunity from the EP King of the Wild Frontier. The band is Burned Out, Still Glowing, and we're hanging with the leader of Burned Out, Still Glowing, Lennon. Appreciate you joining us this evening. Yeah. Let's talk about Opportunity. What is that song about?
It started off as just like as kind of like every song, did, is just experimenting with different things. I had just gotten a pedal that changed my voice.
Okay.
So I was using like an auto-tune-esque thing for my voice.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just branched from there into something really cool. And when I was recording it, I got to work with a bass player. His name's Jordan. He's in a really, really good band called Infinian.
Okay.
And he kind of helped me experiment a little bit and kind of shape the song in a different way.
Okay.
And it turned out really, really cool. The ending part is my favorite. It turns into like this really funky kind of thing that wasn't supposed to happen. It was a total studio experiment, but I smile at it every time because I just like really like it.
Real quickly, is it safe to say that the music gets created first and then the words get added later on all your songs? Yeah,
pretty much. Okay. Yeah, because I'm not. My voice is like something that I struggle with, but it's like the only one I have, so I have to like kind of do it.
Yeah.
It's writing is a really personal thing.
The lyrics.
The lyrics. Yeah.
The music just seems to come easier for you.
Yeah, it definitely does, because I started out as just a guitar player and then I kind of branched from there. But anybody can listen to music and it feel a certain way, but there are some of those listeners that only listen to lyrics, and it's like, you really have to expose yourself in a sense, and it's very vulnerable feeling.
They get caught up in the hook.
Of course.
And the hook is there and it's in your head. But the music is something, since I'm a terrible musician,
right.
I respect all these people that we've talked to over the years.
Sure.
But I pay attention to the music, I the riffs and things like that. I just love listening to it and knowing how bad I am and all the money I spent on guitar lessons. And,
exactly.
And it still can't do that. But let's talk about the making of your EP.
Yeah.
Did you do this yourself, or did you go into a studio? How did that happen?
Yeah. So I've recorded a couple of demos, and then I got a great opportunity to work with a really good person named Matt Weber, who is in a band called Young Statues, who is a very big, getting very big. They do all types of tours. I'm very happy for them. But that's in a studio called Gradwell House.
Okay.
And I think
in Jersey?
Yeah, it's in New Jersey. It's in Haddon Heights. And there's a lot of local bands that have recorded there around here. And it was just a great opportunity. You walk in somewhere and it's a big room. And it was very professional, and I really enjoyed it.
Did Matt act like a producer, or was he more of an engineer and you basically dictated what you wanted to do? How did that work? Because it works different ways. Sometimes bands are like, we want a producer because we want that outside ear. And some bands are like, nope, just record because we know what we want.
Yeah, so it started off as not being a producer and just an engineer. And then for Opportunity, I recorded it as a single. And then the other 3 songs, I combined it into the one EP, and he actually played drums for me.
Okay.
And I kind of twisted his arm into being a producer at that point. I was like, hey, man, I need some feedback because I don't know, how I can make this better. And, he eventually, gave into it and gave me some really good pointers. And phenomenal drummer. I can't say enough about him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's incredible.
A great learning experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
I can't say enough about that dude. He's really
will you go back to that studio for your next EP?
You know what? I think different sounds come from everywhere, and I would like to try a different studio.
Okay.
As great as an experience as that was, there's always something or another level you can get to.
And you seem to be a person who loves to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you like different experiences to add to your learning.
Every experience that you can have is something that will build you as a character, and I strongly believe that.
Okay, very cool. All right, then let's talk about where people can find your music.
Yeah, so I you can find it on Bandcamp, which is really cool. It's Burned Out Still Glowing, band.bandcamp.com. And then you can find me on YouTube, on Facebook, Spotify, and iTunes now, which is really cool.
Good.
And if you ever hear my music and you have the Shazam app, you can Shazam me as well, which I think is like the best invention ever.
All right, I'm going to have to admit.
Yeah.
Do you know what this is?
Yeah.
All right, Mike does. Of course, I don't.
Okay. You
Explain
need to know what it
Yeah,
is.
Mike is going.
About learning.
That's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
Explain to me, teach me about Shazam.
Shazam is an app on your phone that, and no matter what song you hear, so everybody's been in the car and was like, what is the song I need to know?
Okay.
You hit
Boom.
that
All
button
right.
and it listens
I've heard
to
of those
it.
types of apps.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I'm
very
aware
cool.
of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have the name. And
You know the
exactly what it
technology
is. I know the
exists.
technology.
Yes,
That's right. So
absolutely.
I'm not that bad, Mike.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I'm
All right.
excited about
Very
that.
cool. Where are you playing?
I don't have anything currently booked because I've been taking time to write and record another EP.
Okay, cool.
Recording place to be determined so far, but I am currently booking the last week of spring and the first week of June for my first tour.
Okay.
And that's something that every band needs to do, and I haven't done it yet. And
Okay.
I need to. I've been doing it too long not to have some sort of tour. So.
When you find out, send us the info so we can get it on our concert
Absolutely,
calendar.
I would totally do that.
We want to
That's
definitely
great.
promote you and your shows. All right, Lennon, it's been great hanging with you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the last song real quickly, and then we're going to wrap up.
Sure.
Battle Cry. This is another instrumental.
Yes, it is another instrumental. Yeah, it's
Was it created at the Guitar Center?
was created at the
Listen to
Guitar
that.
Center. Absolutely. I think this was actually the first song I created
Okay.
at my job. I really, my musical mentor, kind of in a sense, his name's Rod Dunlap. He was in a band called Collect Carter, which was a really good band. But he showed me what a delay pedal was, and it was like the first thing that ever came out. And so that's how this song originated.
Very cool. All right. Lennon, it's been great hanging with you, talking to you about your music and the band, and we wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, thank you
And
so much.
Keep
It's a
in
great
touch.
experience. Yeah.
When you get those concert dates set, send it to us so we can get that information out there.
Absolutely, yeah, thank
and
you so
then
much for
when
having
you get the new EP out, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay, because
for
we'll
sure.
get that info out too for you.
Yes.
All right, just want to remind you we'll have another vidcast next week. Appreciate you joining us this evening. And of course, you can check out our YLN update that we do every week. Mike and I will talk about the latest things that are going on in the Philly music scene. Anything that's going on in the Philly music scene, you're going to be able to find it on yourlocalnote.com. We stream 24/7. It's all local music, all local bands, and they're all very talented. Again, it's yourlocalnote.com. Wrapping things up here with the song Battle Cry from the band Burned Out, Still Glowing, and the EP is King of the Wild Frontier. This is yourlocalnote.com.